Hi, welcome to African Connect. We are here at the campaign of President Gooluck Jonathan, the House campaign, and I'm here with the Amokbo Senebal, the Dr. Reuben JaJa, and one of the chief responsible for today. How are you doing, sir?
Quite well, thank you so much.
I know today is about the launching of the biography of the President Jonathan. Is it what you were expecting, sir?
Yes, of course, we are very impressed with the turnout. We know that the event was supposed to start early, at 11, but because of certain difficulties with our guests coming from Nigeria and around the world, so they didn't arrive on time. But still, the diaspora community were holding very strong, and they waited for us, and we started and had a good discussion.
So many people raised good questions today, including myself. We talked about the middle class in Nigeria. I said there is no middle class in Nigeria. It's just between the rich and the poor. That was the system of Nigeria. Do you think President Goodluck Jonathan has done a lot or has put infrastructure there for us to have middle class in Nigeria?
Of course, like the professor effectively discussed, that this president have laid a good foundation for middle class to be created in Nigeria, because in the past it was non-existent. We don't have middle class. All we have is the poor and the rich. But with the transformation initiatives of this president, a lot of things have been put in place to enable the poor to go up to middle class and create a strong middle class to support our economy. Most of these things that were done is in terms of funding sources, making it available for those who are engaged in entrepreneurial activities to borrow funds cheaply, and also to broaden the economy so as to create more jobs that will lead to wealth creation, and then from there to investments. So this president is the only president that we know that have tackled this issue from a fundamental base, which is establishing the infrastructure to support the overall economy. When we talk about power, power is an instrument of empowerment that will lead to wealth creation, that bring industrialization, that will also lead to the creation of the middle class. Because the middle class typically are the working class. They're the workforce of the nation. And the nation growth in industrial development needs them. So by the president making sure that he invests strategically in those segments that can anchor the economy and grow it to a point where we'll have successful entrepreneurs, is a good start for our economy. Today we see housing boom in our country. A lot of homes are being built and young people are buying them. Now, when you buy a home, those home becomes the only instrument you have to borrow, the only instrument you can transform into supporting a company. And then from there, you create a little business that can grow into a large one. So this president have laid that foundation, and we feel strongly that if he continues the next 4 years, a lot will be done. And as a matter of fact, he also allowed the Central Bank of Nigeria to commit 220 billion naira to support what we call the micro, small, medium enterprises. And these are loans that are not costly. These are loans that will make these businesses borrow and then do good business and be able to pay back. So that program is targeted mostly to women, because we know that women can borrow and pay back. Oftentimes, men pay very slowly, if they do pay at all. So, I mean, these are facts, that women do pay back their loans, and they work hard. And for those of us who pay attention to the structure of our micro businesses back home, most of them are predominantly dominated by women. So this president had the foresight to target 60% of that money must go to businesses that are promoted by women. So you can begin to see how his programs are targeted towards building a middle-class base for the nation.
Talking about women, we can't help but to talk about the young girls who have been missing in Nigeria, the Chibok girls. How is the president and his government helping to bring these girls back? And how can we, as Nigerians, invest in young children, young girls' education?
Yeah, anyone that knows our president knows that he's a man full of kindness. He's a man of God. And every blessed day that those children are somewhere within the reach, without the reach of our nation or their families, our president's heart goes out for them. It is a very complex issue, but I can assure you that this is one of the thorny issues that the president is focused on. He has consulted widely. He has invited international community for aid. And many good-minded Nigerians and even our armed forces have worked tirelessly to provide solution to this. But we know and we are convinced that within a very short time, we'll be able to resolve this. Now, young women in our society obviously need help and need to be supported. We have done so much in the area of youth development. For instance, the entertainment industry in Nigeria today is one of the biggest industry that we have. And our youth have shown a very, very encouraging signs, and they perform exceedingly, and the youth dominate that industry. Likewise, the ICT in terms of the communication technology. So these two industries are areas that our president have watched very carefully and supported. For example, like the entertainment industry in terms of movie, film development and all that. This is an industry that he has shown serious attention. Why? Because the youth have taken that industry and own it. And today, their product is being sought worldwide. Nigerian films are being marketed all over the globe. So, and he has also pumped in money to encourage our youth to go in that direction. And likewise, those who have chosen to go to agriculture. And today, most of the youths are moving in that direction. And women form the bulk of all this. So our women youth are very, very much active, taking advantage of all these opportunities created by the government.
I know you are a big supporter of the president. What is the policy you want him to implement if he wins, in case he wins the 2015 election?
Well, to continue the good work that he's been doing, all the policies supporting the growth poles that he has been pushing should continue, because those policies are very deep. For instance, policy on electoral reforms is deepening democracy in Nigeria. Policy supporting power have helped to diversify and broaden our power infrastructure. Policy towards transportation have led to the creation of or activation of all the modes of transportation, either by air, by sea, or land. You see, by land, we have our railways are working again. By air, all our airports are in top shape, first class. And then by sea, we have canals and bridges all being constructed. So these are very good policies. And even policy of granting the citizens freedom of speech and freedom of expression, that you can talk and criticize your government and go home and rest and relax and nobody harass you. That is a fundamental policy. So continuing that, like one of the speakers mentioned, that the Freedom of Information Act, you can go any day, any time to any ministry of the government, tell them you need to know more about this ministry, and you submit your freedom of information request, and it will be granted. And whatever information you need, you grab it. Policy on transparency with regards to how the economy is managed. That policy makes all the affairs of the government open, either the budget process, what job has been done, the full accountability of how the government has done its business. So these are policies that are very, 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 very deepening in terms of encouraging growth and development of our nation. So those are the ones that I would tell them, continue to push harder and institutionalize them before you leave.
For every Nigerian that is listening right now or watching this African Connect, what message that have lost hope in the government, what message do you have for them, especially the young youths?
The message that I'll bring to them is that, look, change has come. Look, your country is back to you. You are the owner of that nation. Your power to tell the government what to do about your country has been restored. Come. The economy is on the growth. You need to be in. Don't be outside. Find something to do. Encourage your government and be a part of it. Now, Nigeria is ready to deal with the world community. Why can't you find one thing or the other that you can do and take advantage of all the policies, all the opportunities, and all the things that is happening? Particularly to the diasporans, I would tell them, don't stay too long far away from what is happening, because by the time you change your mind and come back, it will be too expensive to get involved. So this is the time that you must be constructive, look at one thing that you can do and put it together. This is our time, and it is not a time that anybody should second guess the nation. The change are fundamental, the change is occurring, and we must all be part of it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us again. And if you are watching this, if you are Nigerian, it's time for us to start standing up, speaking out, and let's join hands with our government to move our country forward. Let us not be the destroyer of our country ourselves. Let us be the light that will shine upon our country. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of African Connect.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you again.